Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Spotlight. Spotlight is a podcast where we showcase people in the baseball community, players, coaches, people in business, anything you could want to learn more about baseball and get more involved with the game that we all love. My name is Josh Band. I'm the founder and owner of Play Crate. I have an awesome guest today. There's no mistake why this person is my number one guest on the first podcast for Spotlight. His name is Matt Antonelli. He's the owner of Antonelli Baseball. He has an amazing YouTube page at Antonelli Baseball, an amazing Instagram page, but so much more than that. He has a great AU program. He was a first rounder. He played in the big leagues. He has so much to teach all of us. So without further ado, welcome, Matt. Great to have you on again. I know we've had a lot of these chats, but I'm super excited to get into it.
Thank you. I feel pretty special that I am your first.
And you should probably feel pretty comfortable at this point because we've had lots and lots of talks. So I'm really glad it finally materialized into the podcast, and I'm super happy that you're the first guest on the show because I know that the people listening are going to learn so much from you. Yeah, so I wanted to start off with just your background. I know it. I've heard it a bunch. I was there for part of it, I guess. But tell us, where you're from, what sports you played in high school, and let's just kind of start from the beginning.
Okay, so I grew up in Peabody, Mass, just like you.
Yeah.
I went to St. John's Prep High School in Danvers, Mass. It's like 5-10 minutes away. It's an all-boys Catholic school. I think we had like 1,200 kids. I played baseball, football, and hockey during my 4 years there. Grew up as like a multi-sport athlete, pretty much played every sport I could my whole life. Those are the three that I chose when I got to high school. And then, as I got a little bit older in high school, I started to realize that baseball was kind of my best sport, the sport that I thought that I'd have a chance to go play college and then hopefully one day play professionally. That was always kind of my goal and dream when I was a young kid, wanted to play in the major leagues. And so ended up getting a scholarship to Wake Forest, where I ended up going for 3 years and playing. I got drafted out of high school by the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 19th round, and so made a decision to put off pro ball, go to college. Went to Wake Forest for 3 years, got lucky enough to get drafted again. Went in the first round that time, so I had to go and play. And so then I was drafted by the Padres. Made my major league debut in 2008 after I think it was a little under 2 years or so from when I got drafted, right around there. And then I kind of bounced around for a while. Played for 5 total teams in Major League Baseball. Played with the Padres, the Nationals, the Orioles, the Indians, the Yankees. And then in 2013, I got released/retired, and that's when I got into college coaching. Coached at Wake Forest, and then coached at Holy Cross. I started Antonelli Baseball, and that's what I've been doing since 2013, kind of growing Antonelli Baseball. And you mentioned the YouTube channel, and it's been a lot of fun, been able to work with a lot of kids and help players get better. So it's been great.
Nice. Well, that was a super, super comprehensive or recap of your high school career. No, but that's awesome. And actually, there's a couple pieces in there that I didn't even know. I didn't know that you made it that fast to the major leagues, which I definitely want to dive into. And I know you have some funny stories as well. But let's kind of rewind. Let's go back to high school.
Okay.
You're a talented player at St. John's Prep. I saw your games when I was in 8th grade, 7th grade, all this, because it was just a powerhouse. And watching you play against all the other guys, it was crazy. I know you played hockey too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're really good at hockey. Was baseball just always a passion for you, or was it something where you said, I actually have a career, a more likelihood to have a career in baseball than hockey?
Yeah, so I would say growing up, my goal when I was really little was hockey and baseball are my 2 best sports. They're my 2 favorite sports, playing them. And I always wanted to go to UNH to be a hockey and baseball player. That was like my goal when I was little. I was the bat boy for UNH, and we were good friends with the hockey coach, and so I went to like every hockey game. And then UNH crushed my dreams when I was probably going into high school, and they dropped the baseball program.
Yeah.
And so that kind of changed my whole philosophy on what I wanted to do when I got older. And, I still loved hockey, played it in high school. And I would say probably right around my junior year of high school, I think I started playing more baseball, less hockey. And I just started getting better at baseball. And I don't know, I just felt like that was going to be the sport. If I wanted to play in college, I could have probably played hockey in college, but I was thinking if I want to get to the major leagues, which, I wanted to play in the NHL or the MLB, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm better at baseball, and I'm going to go with that and put everything I have into it, and hopefully one day play in the majors.
Yeah, which is, eventually happened. I don't want to foreshadow everything, but so you're in high school, you get drafted your senior year by the Dodgers. You said the 19th round.
Yep.
That's crazy. Not let alone getting drafted in the 19th round out of high school is great, but playing in St. John's Prep in the Northeast, where your first month is shoveling snow off the field. Who was there? Was there anyone specific that gave you advice on why to turn that down? And was it for monetary reasons? Was it for education? To kind of take us through that, because I'm sure that was pretty difficult.
Sure. So it was a little bit of both. And, I think I pretty much relied on, I just talked to my parents mostly. They had contacted some people that they knew, families of kids that had been drafted out of high school. And so they tried to do some research. In the end, I think the main reason was basically, I knew that if I went and played at Wake Forest, that I could do the draft all over again. And as much as I wanted to play professional baseball, I got drafted in the 19th round. I got offered a higher signing bonus. So when the draft was rolling around, people had told me when I talked to organizations that I'd be drafted somewhere in like the 5th to 8th round is kind of where they were saying. And I didn't go there because I'm assuming because, I had the scholarship to Wake Forest. And I think at that point in the draft, people weren't sure if I was going to, sign or not sign. And so I think I dropped a little bit further. Went the 19th. They offered me a signing bonus that was comparable to like a 5th round pick. So it was a tougher decision. If it was just 19th round signing bonus, which is almost nothing, there would have been no thought. I would have just gone to college. But the 5th round signing bonus made me have to really think about it. And in the end, I thought that I could, if I went to college, like you said, we're Northeast players. And so we didn't play a ton of baseball growing up. And I thought if I went to college and played baseball all year round in North Carolina, I just thought that I would really develop. And I said, in 3 years, I think I could potentially go in the first round. That was what became my goal. And, I got lucky and went, and it happened. I developed and I ended up getting drafted much higher. So it worked out well. But I did think about it for a little bit because, when you want to play in the major leagues and you get drafted, all of a sudden you have a chance to go and do it. It's tough to say no and kind of, I guess, bet on yourself that you'll get better in 3 years and hopefully go higher.
Yeah. So, you touched on a couple of awesome things, and I didn't even know that story, so I'm glad you could share it. But you keep saying the same thing over and over again. I was lucky enough to get drafted. You were such a great baseball player. I'm sure you still rake, but it sounds like you were so driven at that point. Right when you said no to the draft, you didn't just say, I'm going to get drafted, in the 5th round out of college. I'm going to get drafted in the 2nd round. You're like, I'm going in the 1st round out of college. You did 17th overall, 16th overall?
Yes, 17th.
17th overall. So, take us through Wake Forest, because I don't know if you're the type of person that puts lots of pressure on yourself, because you're a super easygoing person. You're always seemingly in a great mood anytime that we talk. But was there someone at Wake Forest that really kind of guided you through that? What did you learn at Wake Forest? How was Wake Forest different than your career at the prep?
So I'll say this: when I went to Wake, the second I decided I wasn't going to go to the Dodgers and I went to Wake Forest, the first thing I said was, like I mentioned, I said I want to be a 1st round pick, and then literally for the next 3 years, I would say pretty much every day when I woke up, I would say, okay, what's the game plan today? What do I got to do to put myself in a good situation to do it? Now, so I'm a little odd. I don't have very many talents. I have just a couple, but the things that I think I'm good at, I will put everything. Sorry, hold on one sec. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put pretty much everything into that, those few things. And so I can be very driven at, if I say this is what I want to do, then I can get real obsessed with it. And which really, I think, helps me with those couple of things. Now, it hurts me in most of the other stuff because I don't know really much about anything else except for, again, just a couple of things. But I'm real good at laser focusing in on that. And so that's essentially what I did. I went down there and then I just worked really hard for 3 years. I set a goal. And the great thing about college versus high school is that, I had to go to class, obviously. I had to make sure that I didn't flunk out and I had to be eligible. But I was really focused on baseball. Like I would get up, if I had to get up early to do a workout or hit and then go to class, and then I would go, right when class ended, I'd want to go and do more, whether it was working out or practicing on my own on top of our team stuff. So I was pretty focused and, I was pretty dedicated to reaching my goals. And college gave me a great opportunity because I could do it. The field's always open to you. You can go, you can work out whenever you want. It's not like high school where we're in the freezing cold. I can't get outside for 8 months out of the year, it feels like.
Yeah.
And, the opportunity is just so much more. The resources are so much more when I went down to college.